Let's start today with calls for Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino to resign. Mendicino came under fire this week after news broke his office knew months before he did that one of Canada's most notorious criminals, serial killer and rapist Paul Bernardo, could be transferred from a maximum to a medium security prison. Mendicino couldn't explain why he wasn't informed, but did late last week announce he would address gaps in his office's communication. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre called those apparent gaps, quote, a failure of leadership at the very top, while also calling for the minister to step down. We did request an interview with Minister Mendicino, but his office declined that request. We're joined now, however, by Timothy Danson. He's the lawyer representing the families of Leslie Mahaffey and Kristen French, two of Paul Bernardo's victims. Hi, Mr. Danson. Good to have you on our show.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you making the time. I wanted to start off by asking how the families are taking the news that the minister's office did know for a number of months prior to Paul Bernardo's transfer, that transfer was pending.
I mean, they're very disturbed by it. In one sense, they're even more disturbed that Corrections apparently advised the minister's office and the Prime Minister's office, the Privy Council office, as early as March 2nd of this year. And then there was a number of months where we assumed there was some back and forth, and nothing was brought to their attention. And all of a sudden, when it becomes public, everyone seems to be shocked, and we don't understand why everybody's so shocked if the discussions had been going on for months. That being said, at this point, all the families want is for the government and for the commissioner to do the right thing. And the right thing is to rescind this transfer order and return Paul Bernardo to maximum security at Millhaven. That's what needs to be done, and that's what we've expressed both to the Commissioner and to the Minister.
The Correctional Service of Canada has undertaken a panel review of the decision that they made, and they expect the results of that in a few weeks. The Minister has said it's his understanding that he can't do what you just asked, and other commentary I've read have sort of singled out the idea that if he did it in this instance, even though it is the most horrific of criminals, it would set a precedent or could set a precedent for the future that is a dangerous one, that being of government kind of intervening when an independent correctional service system has made a decision. What is your response to that?
There is no slippery slope here. This is a case that has shocked the conscience of almost 40 million Canadians. The minister has expressed his shock. The Prime Minister has, leader of the opposition. It seems that there's unanimity on this issue, that this was a wrong decision. And if the government collectively feels that this is a bad decision and then they say there's nothing that they can do about it, I don't accept that. Clearly, the buck stops with the minister, the buck stops with the government, and the buck stops with the Parliament of Canada. And if everyone is of the view, and rightfully so, that this is a shocking and incomprehensible decision, then it has to be reversed. And the minister absolutely, in my view, not only can, but has the responsibility of issuing a directive to the commissioner to rescind it, or the government should do an order in council. They can certainly do this.
I know that you spoke to the minister last week. Did you convey exactly what you just said to Canadians to him?
Yes, I mean, I think it's important that the minister did call. He wanted me to express to the families, which I did, that he understands their anguish and despair and their upset. That he's going to do what he can to assist, and that he wanted me to reiterate to them that he was shocked and found the decision incomprehensible, and the families appreciated that. But and I have no doubt that was sincere, and genuine. But the families, they've been through a lot. This has brought them back to day one, and they are really suffering. This is really difficult for them, and they don't want talk. They want action. So let's have action. The other thing that's of deep concern, particularly for the Mahaffey family, now that we know that this was the decision was made back as early as March 2nd. And then they waited all of this time to implement the decision, and they decided. And I don't say this facetiously and I don't say this unkindly, but I mean, who are the rocket scientists at corrections who seem to play lip service to caring about victims' rights, and they decide to implement this to line up with the anniversary of Paul Bernardo's abduction and murder of Leslie Mahaffey? It's quite remarkable, and the fact of the matter is, and I accept they would not have done this deliberately, but they obviously didn't even consider it, and these are the things that they need to consider.
Mr. Danson, I'll leave it there. I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Timothy Danson, the lawyer for the families of Paul Bernardo's victims.